Hi, everybody. While Justin sits down, um, welcome to the Toddcast.
What's
Yay!
up, guys? Sorry, I had to turn down the draft because apparently Blockbuster already.
Yeah, it's all good. I was just like, Jesus, I can hear that all the way over here, and it was
Mm,
it was nuts. But yeah, so hopefully everybody's having fun watching the
hmm.
draft, doing your thing, whatever you got to do. Um, Yes, I am sitting in the dark because my house is super warm because my AC is broken and I need to fix that. Um, so
It's going to rain the
yeah.
next couple of days, and the temperature will drop, so it won't be too bad the next couple of days.
I don't think you're right.
Well,
I think it's
my area, maybe it's according to my phone, my area. It says that's what's going to
Oh
happen.
no, you're right. It's gonna be like 60s, but for the next 2 days. Um, but still, um, at least it's supposed to get like colder tonight.
Yes, instead of
But
like 70 like it was last night. Jesus, I was
oh, it's
sweating.
awful. Oh, it's awful. Awful, awful, awful.
And then
So,
last week it was in the 30s.
yeah, it was very not okay. Yeah. Very, very not okay. Anyway, so, yeah, it's gonna be like 60, it's gonna be like 70 when I go to bed at like midnight. So, God damn it, kill me. Anyway, um, I may have to put the window unit at least in up here. Um, Maybe that'll help the wife not want to kill herself at work tomorrow. She can blow the cool air into her office. So anyway, so tomorrow we have a big announcement coming on our social media and our website
Dun, dun, dun.
and other social media for Free Comic Book Day. You guys need need to pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. Um so follow New Dimension Comics, follow the Waterfront specifically. Um, it will be kind of cool. Um, I I will also preface with um, we did not go hunting for this. Like we did not go out of our way hunting for this. It kind of fell in our lap. So um, it's a thing.
To be
But
fair,
um,
that's the best kind of deal.
but to all of you who gave this person glowing reviews of us to help it fall in our lap, thank you. Because that we he the this person gave us some glowing reviews from you guys, and we appreciate that greatly. So, um, anyway, make sure you're following along. Speaking of Free Comic Book Day, we have a lot of stuff going on. So Free Comic Book Day is a week from Saturday, guys. A week. It's a week from Saturday. It's crazy, crazy. Um, So the waterfront's going to be open 11 to 8. Mills is 11 to 8. Ohio Valley's 10 to 9. Elwood's 10 to 5. Cranberry's 12 to 6. Butler's 11 to 8. They actually might even be open 10 to 8. Tony and I were kicking that around. Mills is going to have Dan Noakes, some cosplayers, and the band Yiga Digga is going to be there doing an acoustic set. Waterfront's going to have Marvin Wen, the Comicsburg guys, some cosplayers, and another special guest that we'll talk about tomorrow. Um, Cranberry may have some extra cosplayers. Butler may have some extra cosplayers. It's going to be a lot of fun. All of the stores will have free comics, limit one per person per title. Um, please only take the ones you actually want. And if you're going to another store, they may have different rules. Please don't give them shit. And also remember, these weren't free to us. Like, So if you can, please buy something, anything, just because they weren't actually free to us. We don't mind giving you this stuff, but you know, and while we love seeing some of you guys only one day a year, we would like to see you more than one day a year. But if you're only going to come out one day a year, it'd be really nice of you to just buy something that one day a year and not just come for the free stuff. Um,
We
I,
have
I hate to say it like that, but I mean it's
we have a
and
dollar section, guys. It's
I
hard
will
to.
be 100% honest. 99% of the people we see on Free Comic Book Day are our regulars.
Mhm.
They are the people that come and support. It is not the people that just come for the freebies. Um, and we love all of you. We love seeing all of you guys. It is a celebration of comics. It is a celebration of being nerdy. Um, you know, it is what we do, and we love every moment that we are in this industry with you guys. We are along for the ride with you, and we thank you every day because we wouldn't have jobs without you guys.
Definitely.
I would have to be
Or we'd
doing
be
something
stuck in
way more boring. Yeah.
some really crappy, labor intensive job.
Yeah, I'd be doing something way
UPS.
more boring. Yeah, right. Yeah. Uh yeah. I'd be doing something way, way more boring. So thank you so much for doing that. Um Other than that, I I cut my first interview for the show this today with my buddy Fiore. So that'll be on Rex Reel, probably in about a week. So if you guys watch Rex Reel, the movie critic out of Bethel Park, public access, he's a great guy. His son Gabe sets up the show every year, um, and we cut it at the waterfront. It was awesome. Um, Tomorrow I have an interview on the comic book Yeti. I'm very excited to do that. I don't know if it's live or not, but we're gonna find out. And then Saturday I'm cutting one with the guys from the last comic shop. So if you know anybody else that you think that would be good for us to talk about the show and promote a little bit, let me know. I'll go on there and talk. Justin and I will go on there and talk. We
Mhm.
may even pull Scott on, even though he really hates to be seen on camera, even though we literally drew him into this thing. Like,
Yes.
seriously, we drew him in here. Like, so look. This is Todd. This is me. This is Justin. And that's Scott right there. Right there.
Yeah.
Okay. And then that's Godzilla. You can't miss the big G, right? The big G
Yeah.
right there. Okay.
And every place that I have done dropped off is enthusiastically, wow, that is great. Even if
Yeah.
you're not a comic book person, everybody knows Godzilla.
Yep.
It's a virtually universal pop culture icon. Um, and they're like, who are all these guys here? And then I have to tell them exactly that it's like, well, this is the owner, and this is my boss, and this is me with the blue hair, and the little dude that's hanging off the light pole is a guy we work with. And they're like, who did this? And then I have to tell them, it's like, well, this is a local
Mhm.
couple from Cranberry,
Yeah.
and
Which, by the way, I got that dropped off today. I know you won't be able to really see this that well through the camera because they're blue pencils, but this is the actual lines of the art.
you
So,
can kind of see it at that angle much better than what you were showing me earlier. There we
okay.
go.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, this is the actual art. Nate dropped it off to me today. Him, and his daughter Kinsey hung out for a little bit. But if you guys want to check them out, it's 819 Comics. You can check them out on all the socials at 819 Comics. Their book Mr. Marsh is available at all of our stores. Zero is available at most of our stores. That's their new book. And they're great. Nate's been working on books since he moved out of Cleveland. Stacy's been coloring stuff since she moved here from um, California, and they're a great couple. I love them. They're absolutely the most adorable people. They're great to just hang out with and talk, and I love them. They're great. So and if you're coming to the show, if you have a postcard, if you have a poster, if you're one of the shops that got a poster and you want to get it signed, bring it in. They'll sign it. I'll sign it. I've signed a couple of postcards so far. And I'm gonna get a couple of these signed for, the staff, like especially the guys in the poster, like, the team. We're gonna get a couple of posters signed for us. But if you also are a business that wants to support the show, and you want a poster for your show or for your shop, your waiting room, whatever, reach out to us. It's just booking at threeriverscomiccon.com. That's my email. And I'll, just let me know where you want it and I'll drop it off. Or I'll send Justin to drop it off, or Scott to drop it off, or we'll mail it if we have to.
Yeah.
But time's running out. You got like 5 weeks, so get on it.
Yeah.
So,
No,
all right.
I've hit all my local areas pretty much. I got all the local libraries today. And they were like, well, we can't take the poster for obvious reasons, but we'll take the flyers. And I'm like, that's all I have to ask for. I was like,
Yep.
You don't have to push. I was like, you just leave them there and people pick them up. And several of the librarians are like, we just think this is neat. This is so cute, because they're all old ladies and it's fun to interact with them. They're like, we love to encourage reading. I was like, so do we. I was
Yep.
like, it's just a different form of reading. I was like, but it's reading nonetheless.
Yep.
So,
And we, yeah, I have
little,
a couple. I have like two more shops to hit in the area, which I hopefully will do tomorrow, and then I have a couple. I have 2 libraries to hit and a couple other spots. We do have a street team hitting Lawrenceville with posters this week. So Lawrenceville, you're getting covered.
a little bit of sad news. For the pro wrestlers out there, pro wrestling fans, Steve Mongo McMichael passed away today.
No, no
So
more Mongo.
yep. For those who don't know who that is, he was an NFL player, played for Chicago for the Bears back in the 80s. And then he became a WCW wrestler after that. Was part of Ric Flair's group back in the day, the Four Horsemen. So it's a little bit of a sad day. So we had a couple weeks there with no like celebrities passing away majorly, and we're right back on track again.
Right?
Yeah. But apparently he was having physical ailments and stuff anyway. I think he had cancer.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely did not look like he did back in the day when he was wrestling. He was very, very skinny, very frail. So,
All right. Well, we don't really have a lot of other stuff to talk about. Hey, Marvin's in the chat. I saw you
no,
earlier today. Thank you for taking all those posters. Um,
there is no
So,
comic stuff going on whatsoever.
no.
But we're getting closer to the Thunderbolts.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
That and we're waiting for somebody to finally buy Diamond. That's really it.
Yeah.
So until that happens, we're just hanging out. So let's talk comics, guys. If this is a short week for once, so be it.
Yeah. Well, we had the long one yet last week.
That's
Let's
true.
make this one the short one.
Also, if you guys haven't seen, most of our stores have set up a Three Rivers Comic Con area. It includes like local guys, it includes big name guys. Some are behind the counter, some are not, some are a little bit of both. Like for instance, the Mills has some of the bigger name guys are behind the counter, but some of the local guys are actually on the new wall, and they'll have a little tag that says the Three Rivers Comic Con guest. And some of the bigger names, because some of their books are actually kind of expensive, are behind the wall or behind the counter. And like at Ohio, it's like literally right when you walk in, there's a spin rack or a 4-way rack. At Cranberry, it's kind of at the end of the counter line. And in Elwood, it's behind the counter. Butler, I think it's across from the counter, and Waterfront, it's kind of at the end of the counter. Theirs is growing, though I don't know that it's going to stay that small of size. They haven't quite made it that big yet. But anyway, let's talk comics. my first book is Absolute Wonder Woman 7. So this is the second part of the the second arc after the first story arc is done. So this is little Diana. It kind of flops back and forth of her learning a lesson from Persephone, who Persephone is the queen of hell and the bride of Hades. And um, so Hades and Persephone basically have an arena in hell, and um, they put Diana in the arena to fight for her life, and they keep going back and forth. Um, and you see Cersei talk to Hecate about uh like how she's going to figure out that Diana's going to leave, and she tells her to tell her this story of the Lady and the Tiger. And the story of the Lady and the Tiger is this guy falls in love with this princess. The princess um basically is like the father of the king who's the father of the princess doesn't like the guy, so he throws him in the arena, and the king puts a tiger behind one door and the princess behind another one, or a girl behind the other one. And um she uh she knows that she knows which door the girl's behind, so that if he picks the girl, they'll live happily ever after. And if he picks the tiger, he's probably going to die. But the problem is the girl that's behind the door is actually his ex. So it's, do I let him see the girl and they might live happily ever after, or do I let him see the tiger and he might die? And that's how the story, the fairy tale part of that ends. So the whole book is her trying to figure out, well, how does this end? I still don't understand it. So at some point, she realizes she's not the princess, and it's how she ends up figuring out how she can leave. Um, and it's like a bit of a prequel, excuse me, to the first story. So it works out pretty well. I really enjoyed it. The art in this book is still phenomenal. Kelly Thompson's still crushing it. I'm giving this book a 9 out of 12, only because like there wasn't a lot of action in it. It was mostly like kind of like a fable almost.
Mhm.
Um, so that's why I kind of gave it a little less. Um, it really didn't feel very Wonder Woman-y. It felt more storytelly. So
Medieval Spawn #1. Honestly, other than the OG Spawn, Al Simmons, this is probably my second favorite Spawn, and I've been looking forward to uh getting more about this. I think there was the limited with Medieval Spawn a few years ago. But I think it was only like 4 issues and done. It's interesting to see this one. I think this is like one of the another spin-offs of, hey, this is a Spawn universe comic, or but we start off with Medieval Spawn, and a handful of his loyal troops find a starving boy. Um, they take him in and find out he was a shepherd in a village that was being taken over or cursed. He's not really sure how to describe it. He's never seen anything like this. Um, so Medieval Spawn takes the initiative and is like, okay, we'll have to check out this village. We're on the hunt for a man by the name of Godfrey Fitzroy. who stole a powerful jewel from the kingdom, and he's basically kind of bounty hunting because he's not with a king. The boy even points out, "You're not wearing any colors. What are these colors?" And he's like, "I am basically a freelance knight." It's the basic how he describes it. They get to the village and they find the village is truly cursed. Um, it's covered in these tentacles, and you're seeing these undead, uh, kind of like flesh zombies, where they're just kind of they're zombies, but all you see is like string pieces of flesh covering them, no clothes or anything, just doing their own thing. Um, so of course, yes, I know, bud. Someone wants to join in. He's helping tell the story. Um, he finds that Fitzroy is there. He's holding the sacred jewel he stole. He talks about uh, Abaraxis, who he claims is a god from a different dimension. And once he sets this free, sets this god free, he will stop hearing the screams of all the innocent people that he killed. Um, and medieval Spawn basically is like, I understand the need for uh, silence, but this is not the way to go about it. But I will help you with the silence. And he ends up killing this Fitzroy, closing this portal as they grab um, the jewel, and the portal closes. They clear out the village. One of Spawn's men does end up dying early on when they were in battle. Um, and then the boy with who we find out name is Richard. Um, and he's like, "Well, can I come with you?" And he's like, "Boy, a squire's life is hard. Um, but if you choose to join us, you are more than welcome to." And then we kind of get this foreshadowing of medieval Spawn going, "If I had known what would become of Richard in the future, I would have never let him come with us." So that kind of opens the door for the tragedy that befalls medieval Spawn in the past. I really, really like this. Again, one of my favorite characters. I think he's a very underrated version of Spawn.
I agree.
And I know everybody loves the Gunslinger, which Gunslinger is cool too. I have no problems with the Gunslinger, but Medieval was that first alternative Spawn we got exposed to early on in Spawn, because he was the first to battle Angela when she killed him in back in the day. Um, so I'm gonna give this a solid 11 out of 12 because I feel like there should have been more. Like last week, you were saying you wanted more. I feel like I want more out of this.
Fair enough.
This was a taste. Um, but I'm glad that they're doing this. I can't wait to see how far this goes. But I think an 11 out of 12. I totally get it. The art is excellent. It's hard to mess up a good Spawn book. Uh, so there we
Cool.
go.
All right. My next book is Green Lantern 22. So this picks up where the last one left off, where Hal and Carol are fighting Hector Hammond. And Hector Hammond is while he doesn't have the giant head that we all loved, where he's kind of Modoc-y looking, um, he is just got a super brain and can take over people's minds and can uh throw things with their brains and stuff like that. So, um, he takes over the DEO, sends up toward them. Hal has Dove do a shine, which blinds him, and then Carol jumps on him and makes him love, which is ridiculously funny, because it kind of like jacks him up and he doesn't know what to do. So Hal just punches him in the face and, and knocks him over. At that point, Mr. Bones is like, "We should talk." Um, then it cuts to Kyle and Connor and um uh why can I never remember her name? Anyway, Odyssey, and they're still trying to get out. They're trying to get the guy out of the outpost. And they get this guy, they find this guy, they get him out of the outpost. They open the door and it's basically all of the bugs from Starship Troopers are coming after them as an army. Uh, so they tell Odyssey to take care of him, and so they kind of have him limping away while Connor and Kyle go after him. Cuts back to Hal and Carol talking to Mr. Bones, and Mr. Bones is like, "As director of the DEO, you have illegally entered a government facility at cost to taxpayers." And Hal's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Ah, I don't think you understand here. I'm part of the Green Lantern Corps." And he literally is like, "So your authority's here. My authority is here because Sector 2814 covers here. And the US government and all of the governments of Earth have let us take control of this. So you're here, I'm here." And it's the most Hal Jordan thing I've ever seen happen. And they basically have this like awesome, awesome fucking discussion where he basically gives Mr. Bones the business. And at some point, Carol's just like, "I know he can be a bit much, but please don't try him. Um, he'll do it, like, and what's worse is he'll do it with a smile." And he's like, "All right, what can I help you with?" And he goes, "I need a key." Cuts back to Odyssey. Odyssey's helping this dude out. Um, they try to leave, and they're like, "Huh, that's that's not a way I can go." So they walk by um this scarab that's in a globe, and the guy goes to grab it, and she's like, "Wait, wait, we don't have time for that." And he says some magic words. It starts taking over his body. They're cuts outside. They're all trying to fight stuff, and Kyle's like, "Dan?" And he's like, "Don't call me Dan, call me the Silver Scarab." So he's like a blue beetle, but the Silver Scarab instead.
Oh,
Um,
jeez.
yeah, right. And then you cut back to Hal. He's now with Zariel and the Phantom Stranger, and they're at St. Patrick's Purgatory, um, which is in Ireland, which is basically a gateway to hell.
Eh,
And uh, they can't bring Carol because there's no love in hell, right?
okay.
And they literally open the door to hell and they just fly into hell. Um, and when they get down there, um, they get down there and Hal's like, "You got to be kidding me, Gnort?" And Gnort's like, "Oh, it's been too long. How you doing, buddy?"
Oh,
And
geez.
the tease for the next issue is Hal versus the Spectre. So I am super pumped for the next issue. Um,
Eh,
so this book just continues to be great. In fact, I was talking to somebody in another shop the other day. I forget who it was. We were just talking about how good this book and um, this book and Green Lantern Corps are, and how they have potential to be up there with like the Tomasi and John stuff um, of the modern Green Lantern. runs. And and Adams is just crushing it. So I'm going to give this book 10 out of 12 because the art's phenomenal, the story's great. It's got humor, it's got everything you want out of a Green Lantern book in this book. The only reason I'm not giving it 12 is because of the jumps are a little like where it jumps kind of cuts weird. And those
Mhm.
they just feel weird. Um, Also, I'm not super excited about having a Silver Scarab, but um, uh, and I'm a little sad that Hector Hammond got kind of punked out with a punch. But that's just me. So
Deadpool Wolverine number 4. They we leave off where Deadpool and Wolverine are holed up in the Western Bar saloon type place. And they're battling these zombies that um if they bite, um they kind of will connect Wolverine with um Strife. Um, and as he's battling, they're, Deadpool and Wolverine are kind of taking out all these zombies. Um, but all of a sudden they kind of stop, and we see as Strife is flying with the giant dinosaur skeleton, he's he's wavering, and apparently he needs to recharge his mental abilities, because he doesn't, if you notice, he hasn't worn his helmet at all. We get an explanation that um, he traveled, he was traveling through time. And while he did that, Nick Fury ended up having to deal with him, taking his helmet, and then the apocalypse happened. So he has to get his helmet back from wherever Shield put it. Of course, this pisses off Logan because he's like, another damn mess I got to clean it up after Fury for. Um, we also see that the government tracked Maverick, who used his uh, armor as decoy and gets the jump on them, and then he escapes and goes rogue. Um, and then as after Strife recharges, the zombies come back to life, and one does end up biting him. So at the end of the book, Wolverine does join the program, so to speak. Um, I wanted this series to be good, and I just can't. I'm this far in. This is awful story writing. I don't know why they made it so convoluted. The art is awesome, which is the only saving grace of this book. Um, so I'm giving this like a 4 out of 12. This is like, if if you have to have it because you're a Deadpool Wolverine fan, I understand. But as far as the story, I'm sorry, it's garbage. It's garbage. I there's no I can't, I don't understand it. Uh, I know we're supposed to suspend disbelief, like reality, but I'm sorry, it's not worth it.
okay,
Yeah.
all right. My last book is Witchblade number 10. I would like to point out the cover on this, where it just randomly covers her butt crack for no reason. I'm like, it's
Is
armor.
this
It should
the
already cover your butt crack.
first appearance of the darkness in the Witchblade?
Dude, it still hasn't happened, but they talk a lot about this. So this I'm basically gonna give this a very quick. So basically, Pizzini is interrogating this dude, and they are they keep talking about the darkness is coming. The darkness is coming. And um it gets to the point where um like they basically go into like an underground tunnel, and she has to like kind of beat up a whole bunch of people that have like weird, like like almost like symbiote stuff coming out of them. Um and and she does kill a whole bunch of people, but like her one friend gets murdered in the middle of it. So the Witchblade goes nuts and literally kills everyone in the room.
Oh
Um
wow.
yeah. So that a big monster shows up at the end with all the dead bodies put together. Um and we still have yet to get the goddamn darkness to show up. I think at the end of this arc we're gonna actually get him.
Okay.
Um
Because
but
isn't that Jackie on the front cover
yeah,
too? Yeah.
yeah.
I as a darkness guy, I was like,
But
that's Jackie.
he's been in every goddamn issue since issue 1. Like,
He just
and
hasn't
I'm just
gotten
like,
the
come on. Like she can see, so when she looks at him, she can see the darkness around him, right?
Mhm.
It's like the biggest cock tease in the planet. Like, and I honestly I don't remember it being like that in the original.
It
Um,
wasn't.
and I bought so I bought the because we had all those Witchblade graphic novels, right, on
Yeah.
sale. So I bought volume 1 for $1, and I was like, well, I'm gonna reread this, and I have it downstairs. I haven't reread it because I want to reread it to be
Yeah.
like, was it really this slow? Like,
No.
I don't
Um,
remember it being that slow on
no.
the uptick to get
Well,
the
the
darkness in there.
darkness didn't come well after Witchblade was a successful book, to be fair.
Right.
It was like, I think volume, I want to say it was in the hundreds. Witchblade was in the hundreds issue, was in the,
No.
I think so, if I remember.
Wow.
It was deep into the lore of Witchblade because I know most of early Witchblade was her versus what's his name?
Ironside.
Yeah, it was gonna be
Okay.
hit. It was her and Ironside for like the longest time,
Okay.
and Garth Ennis wrote what Darkness was what 2000 2001.
Something like that.
So that Witchblade was already popular by at that point. Um, so I remember them, suddenly joined Top Cow, and that was the whole shebang there. Uh, but as
Well,
far as I can remember, the darkness was not a true part of the Witchblade lore until way later in the stories.
some reason I thought it for some reason I remember it being like way earlier, but that might just be me. So anyway, um so yeah. Uh that is pretty much it. I'm going to give this book um a 7 out of 12 because the art is still phenomenal. The story it is good, but if you're not reading it every month, it's hard. Like this book is going to be a lot better for people in graphic novel form because it'll move a lot
Yeah,
faster. Because it's very intense and very thick.
yeah,
Um, so if you're picking it up month to month, it's hard to remember where you left off,
yeah.
basically, right? So, but it's good.
And we come to the conclusion of the Sabretooth, The Dead Don't Talk. Um, as disappointed as I was with Deadpool Wolverine, this was a very satisfying limited series. Um, this was fun. Historically, you get to see ancestors of heroes and villains down the line. Just an awesome ride, and I recommend this floppy or graphic novel. I think This is definitely one you want to add if you are a Sabretooth fan to kind of add to it. In this one, we get the origin of the Crocodilian. And where's it start? Well, of course, we have to start in ancient Egypt. And we find out that Dix was an archaeologist before he was involved in New York. He thought he was entering the tomb of Khonshu. So there's your Moon Knight reference right there. Turns out he ended up in the tomb of Sabak, who is the mortal enemy of Khonshu. If you guys watched the Moon Knight TV show, it's the crocodile verse, the crocodile god, basically. So the crocodile god, of course, is offended by this being mistaken for Khonshu. So he kills everybody in the expedition, including Dixon. But then he resurrects Dixon as his avatar. So, and it's a really cool panel watching the way he kills him by eating his flesh, and then he reanimates him by having his flesh grow back on his bones. It's a really cool scene, and I'm like, that's badass. And then we get fast forward to what the current era, and Creed battles the Dixon as he's transforming into Crocodilian. While the Russian who had the armor is bitching and complaining to the Crocodilian, well, to Dix, he didn't know he was the Crocodilian, about, hey, you set this up and my armor is now in the river, blah, blah, blah. And Dix is like, I don't care. And this is where Creed comes in, and basically they just have it out. And they're basically in Coney Island. They call it Hell's Gate Amusement Park. And of course, as they're fighting, the place is set ablaze. And Creed comes out basically victorious, but he doesn't feel like a victor because now he's mourning. He has a funeral for Dragonfire. He's sitting in a bar drinking. Essex comes in, right, and tells Creed, he's like, I underestimated you. I did not. He's like, you should come back to Ravencroft and come work for me. I will, you can be my assistant. You have all this freedom and blah, blah, blah. And Creed's like, I'm tempted, but I just kind of have other things to do right now. He's still not in the mind space of dealing with things. And then we kind of get the setup on how Logan and Creed met. And it's basically through William Hearst's newspaper article. And we see what newspaper article going, local Canadian bar brawl turns deadly, and you see Logan's face on there. And as Creed reads the article, he finds out that this guy was losing a fight, but then he didn't give up, and he ended up killing his opponent, which that's what Wolverine does. And while that was going on, you see Wolverine talking to an older gentleman with glasses, and talking about, hey, there's, this guy in New York that's very similar to you, and blah, blah. And Wolverine's like, sounds like I might want to fight him someday. And the guy in the gray-haired gentleman is like, well, he's like, yeah, just be careful. He doesn't like to lose. We find out the gray-haired gentleman is the Crocodilian who did survive, because technically he can't die because he's an avatar of a god.
Right.
So it ended at that point. But I loved it. I love the way it ended. I love the art. This may be my most underrated book, like book series,
Okay.
that Marvel's put out, because well thought out plot, everything seems to fit. You're getting shout outs to various, villains and situations that we are familiar with in the Marvel universe. Um, it's just fun. This is what I look for in a book nowadays. Is this is a fun book. Um, I'm giving it a 12 out of 12. The whole series a 12 out of
Well,
12 to be fair. Yeah,
that's crazy.
it's not the sexiest thing ever, but I love how everything fit. A cohesive story that everything fit and made sense in your mind. And this was great. The pacing was good. Um, I wish this was longer than just 5 issues. You could have made this a 10 issue and probably put a little bit more into it, but for a 5 issue miniseries, you get the bang for your buck.
It's awesome. All right. Well, that's pretty much all we got this week, guys. There's really
Yep.
not anything else
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah, there's nothing going on. We got what? We talked about the Fantastic Four thing last week. The
Yep.
end of Daredevil. Uh, not a lot going on.
By the way,
Well,
the second
Thunderbolts are coming
episode,
out.
that's next week. That's next week.
Yeah.
The second episode of the new Doctor Who season, holy shit. Holy shit. That was really good. Lux, super good. If you guys aren't watching it, you should. Um, you should check it out anyway. This whole Shootigawa era is very, very good. Um, it's weird where he's like kind of fighting gods instead of mostly aliens, but whatever, it's fine. It's cool. I
Yeah,
dig
you
it.
got to change it up a little bit, you
Right.
know.
I mean, well, he did in the old days because they're all gods that he fought back when he was like the third and fourth Doctor. So they
Yeah,
just brought him back.
there you
So,
go.
but I'm excited, man. Like it's hella good. Anyway, yeah. So thanks a lot, guys. We'll catch you next
Yep.
time. And if you make sure you shop local, make sure you keep supporting the stores, and we will catch you on the flip
Yep.
later.
See you guys.